So the market is a bit slow and a bit boring right now. Wouldn't you agree? Though Bitcoin is about to retest those previous all-time highs, many of the altcoins are just trading sideways. And I know that we as human beings can easily get bored, especially since my guess is at least 25% of us have massive ADHD. Now, when the market gets boring, I usually spend time researching, and research helps me make more informed decisions on those tokens that have the best chance for 100x gains. Today, our guest should be a lot of fun. He's a retired U.S. Air Force major and intelligence officer. He's also the VP of Operations for StrongNode, a project that's right about to launch, and CEO of OG Life. He also serves as the executive officer for a 5,000 strong U.S. military gaming community. Today he's going to be sharing with us about OG Life and also about StrongNode, a project about to launch on 3 launch pads that we'll give the names of during the interview, and has some serious potential to 100x this bull run from its IDO price. So if you would, I'm going to bring on Brandon Civret. Brandon, did I say your last name right? That's a hard one.
Yeah, you nailed it. Yeah, no, I know everybody tries to think it's a little complicated, but it's just like it says.
Perfect. Now you have an interesting background. Obviously a background in the military, but also in gaming. Could you share with the audience a little bit more about your background?
Sure. Yeah. So I went to the University of Wisconsin-Madison, got my degree, and commissioned as a second lieutenant in the United States Air Force. Went a crazy career. I did security forces. I did space operations. I did nuclear ICBM. So I was one of those dudes sitting underground with the keys, waiting to do that whole thing. And then I ended my career as a liaison officer between the Air Force and the Army as an intelligence officer. And that's really where I found my legs. And then I deployed twice, 2 combat deployments, and was deployed as a director of operations. Which when I was picked up with StrongNode, they saw the ops background and really said, hey, there's a lot of value here with our military veterans. What can you bring to the team and help us organize? And then I was also picked up for my gamer cred, which when I had the conversation with Daniel and everything, he's like, awesome, I've got a project for you. So that's where I was brought in with Original Gamer Life. And I've been running communities, running guilds, doing PvP, player versus player, big sandbox competitive games since as long as I can remember. Ultima Online, way back in the day, and EverQuest, and all the way through like Shadowbane, Darkfall, and now in New World, we're actually running some faction stuff there. So really involved. I also own a game retail store in El Paso, Texas, that we do like Warhammer 40K, Magic the Gathering, and Dungeons and Dragons. We actually have a room painted up as a tavern. So I love the gaming stuff, and I'm really excited because we're bridging a lot of that between StrongNode and Original Gamer Life. And it's funny, we were talking about this earlier, the term conventional gaming. So some of the PC, console, and browser stuff, and mobile games, and now DeFi gaming. So it's really exciting time to be involved in the crypto space.
Yeah, a lot of people in what we're now calling conventional gaming have no idea the shift that's happening, and they're about to become aware of this whole idea of DeFi gaming, this whole idea of they get to actually capture the value that they create and be able to sell that to other people because of what cryptocurrency is going to enable for games, and there's going to be massive revolution. So I've got like an inner nerd, inner geek in me that's loved video games since I first saw them probably at the age of 4 or 5. My first one was like a ColecoVision.
Yeah, I had a
And
ColecoVision.
oh
Fortune
yeah,
builders. I love fortune builders.
yeah. And so I would save my money babysitting and doing everything I could and getting some stuff. And what's fun is I have a side of me that absolutely loves investing, to make little bits of money turn into lots of money, and having your money work hard for you. So at a certain point, your money's working harder for you than you are for yourself, and that's what gives you financial freedom. And so I love the merging of these two, and what crypto is allowing, it's really creating some efficiencies that gaming and crypto are coming together, and smart investments can do ridiculous numbers. My audience knows this, but I made a $4,000 investment into Axie Infinity, buying some land chests. And what's funny is those land chests took like 8 months to sell out. They took forever, and then the price just dropped way below what I sold them at. But I'm a pretty stubborn guy, and when they dropped, I was like, I think it just hasn't caught on yet, but this game should do well. And this whole idea of crypto and gaming should come together. And 2.5 years later, that $4,000 investment, if I had all of it still today, it'd be worth $5 million. I sold all of it, not actually all of it, I still hold some of it, but I made about $300,000 on it so far, and that's like, and I've rolled that $300,000 into a lot of other things this last year, so it's probably made me directly over $1 million from a $4,000 investment in gaming. So when we talk these numbers and I say 100x potential, I know many of you out there can't really understand that till you've been there and gone through it. And will it happen? No, but I spend the time to do the research on the projects that have the better chances to do that. And so our guest here today is here to talk to us about StrongNode. And I love that you've got a background in video gaming and in operations to help StrongNode hit some of the things that they're going for. And you were telling me about OG Life. I didn't know that much about OG Life prior to us talking. So if it's okay, I'll probably ask you some more questions about that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Awesome. Now, I was one of the reasons I asked you to come on is I was doing some research on StrongNode, and your team is ridiculously experienced, like the right team to be running this. So Daniel, Gil, and Colin are the ones that I was reading the bios on, and it was pretty incredible. And what I look for, I kind of cheat when I'm looking for good investments. I look for a good idea, a good narrative, and a really strong team. And so when I saw this super strong team and a good narrative, I was like, yeah, this looks amazing. Could you tell the audience a little bit more about Daniel, Gil, and Colin?
Oh, absolutely. I'm starstruck. You know, I grew up as an indie developer. You know, I put websites together when I was younger. You know, because you have to, as a guild leader, you basically have to do everything. You have to wear. It's like running a startup, where you basically have to learn all these skills. And I mean, MySQL, MySQL. Daniel led that exit with MySQL and along with Colin. So I mean, right there, you know, I'm in these dev meetings and we're talking about development on StrongNode, and I'm fanboying like crazy because these are the guys who put that together. And then they turned around and did MariaDB. And for anybody who's done any modding or done a lot of game development, I mean, MariaDB is huge, you know, and especially in the open source space and in the back end, the database space. So, you know, just talking to these guys, and Daniel's done, you know, like Sega Dreamcast, he set up, you know, their ISP and did the first, you know, console to console service, you know, back in the day. And he also made a video game, you know, Choo Choo Rocket on Dreamcast. So I mean, these guys are just, they're giants. They're giants in the industry, and sitting in those code reviews and the tech meetings, it's just like watching, you know, master artists at work. So me, you know, as an indie developer, I'm like, this is the place to be. This is amazing. And then you have Gil, Chief Product Officer. He's just coming to us from Adobe, and he's awesome. He's, you know, he's they call him a token or crypto evangelist. He's been in the crypto space, you know, from all the different angles. So he's got an impressive resume, and just working with him, you know, even for me, again, as a developer and as an indie guy, having to do everything myself, you know, I'm very familiar with Creative Cloud and Photoshop and all that stuff. So it's just cool to meet these industry giants, these industry titans that are now going from, you know, the Fortune 100, Fortune 500 world and bringing that over to the crypto world. And I'm just, every day I wake up and like, holy cow, I'm just so blessed to be part of this insane team, this amazing team.
It's exciting that crypto's now, you know, bringing on such great talent with focus, strengths into the crypto space and creating this merging of technology. I mean, free-to-play gaming was great, and it completely changed video games, what was it, about 10 years ago? And this play-to-earn model is going to completely outdate free-to-play. And that the games that don't adapt and the people in the industry that don't adapt are going to get blown away. And with that is a wealth transfer that happens. If you think about prior to free-to-play games, you know, it was this idea that, oh, we make a game and we sell it for $60 a CD or whatever, right? And then this whole idea of free-to-play came out, and they made bundles of money that made the whole making a disc to sell or a game to sell that came on a disc so so much less relevant. And these play games went huge, but then play to earn, like what Axie Infinity kind of proved out, was great, but or was amazing, and the kind of revenues they're reaching, even though the game is so simplistic, just shows that as you get more complex games, oh my gosh, the amount of wealth transfer to those that make smart investments is exciting to me.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. And you know, and we talk about different projects and things that could bring in, you know, tokens and things like Eve Online. I don't know if you played Eve Online, but being, you know,
played it a
from your,
lot.
yeah, from your investor background, I mean, just making moves on the market and stuff. It still blows my mind that Eve isn't, you know, Plex isn't a crypto token. So if there's anybody from, you know, from CCB Games out there, that's, you know,
Well,
that,
back in 2003, I played it during the crypto winter because it was boring, and I wanted to see where free to play could go. I was investing in Axie Infinity, but Eve Online has a great marketplace. They just don't. They really disincentivize any type of selling, and they'll ban your account if you do it. But back in 2003, before they really implement or enforce that policy, I made 7 grand over 18 months playing that game, and you could sell the stuff on eBay. And to me, that was the most fascinating idea ever. Was you can make money playing video games. So this whole play to earn idea isn't even new. It was just
right.
shut down by all those games back in 2003, 2004, World of Warcraft and EVE
Like selling
Online. There were
accounts.
lots
Yeah.
of us doing it, and they would, and so now it's really becoming a thing again, and those that don't adapt are going to become irrelevant. And those that do adapt and build good games and all the different components that help bring this together make a fortune as this shift happens. I mean, crypto's bringing massive advances to decentralized financing, but I think the massive advances to gaming is going to happen even faster because there's less regulatory hurdles to jump through.
Yeah, and with the news lately, with Steam, you know, kind of saying, hey, you know, Valve just has more money than they know what to do with, and kind of pushing away the NFT game and Epic as they do, being like, no, we're going to take that market share. We're good with this. We'll figure out how to do this. It's very interesting to see, you know, especially a marketplace like Epic taking that on, and then you have Solana, and you have the C++, you know, connection there with Unreal Engine. So you know, the Rust framework and everything like that. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a renaissance for games, and just the amount of benefit to graphics that you get almost by default by being on an Unreal Engine, I think is very exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. The capabilities of Unreal Engine's gotten incredible. Now, StrongNode itself is a project, so you have a super strong team. Would you share with the audience more what StrongNode is doing, how it's relevant to the overall crypto space, but also to gaming?
Absolutely. So one of the first things that I did when I was brought onto the team was I actually went back home for a family, you know, gathering. They asked me, you know, what's with this crypto thing? Like, what's the so what? You know, I see all these tokens and I see what's going on, you know, and I've heard of Doge and I've heard of, you know, Shiba Inu and all these other tokens and everything. And they're like, I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. And the great thing is that StrongNode is a lot of that utility. It's a lot of that so what to crypto. It's the it's the fact that we take your excess resources and we run compute jobs that some of these larger enterprise entities have. So it might be, you know, medical research. It might be AI and machine learning. It might even be game servers where they need low latency because they have the connectivity between the nodes. And that's really what StrongNode is bringing about, is that entire ecosystem. It also ties in, you know, original gamer life for the user acquisition aspect with the gamer vertical. But really what we're doing is we're creating this marketplace for data, for compute. And rather than being, you know, node validators or doing, you know, another uh, you know, carbon copy of that, we're breaking through that. We're getting to what some of the team has called green mining, where instead of just, you know, mining the token for the token, we're rewarding people and they're earning the strong node edge token through these compute jobs. So we're a lot more efficient. We're getting directly to the compute issue and getting those jobs done, and then creating that economy with the strong node edge token.
Yeah, that's interesting. So we've seen a lot of projects out there with tokens related to decentralized file storage. So you're along the lines of decentralized computing.
Right.
so that people
Exactly.
can put their computer while it's just sitting and they know they're gone at work all day, but they have this amazing gaming computer and a great internet connection. They can be earning money from that computer working to, I guess, enhance the network. Is that a correct summary?
Oh, absolutely. And it's, we've had some use cases and some token utility where people, or token uses where they come in and they ask us, hey, could I offset the cost for my Netflix subscription by watching, Netflix on the device and then running your app in the background? Absolutely. There's just different uses where, you can even run it yourself. You can run StrongNode Edge network yourself and use the tokens that you earn to turn around and then spend them to use the service. Fire up a game server. It could, set up like a LAN party in your neighborhood. The way that most networks work, right, depending on if you're on the same ISP or not, sometimes your data's got to go all the way over to the other side of town just to get to your neighbor next door. And and people don't understand that that's how networks and network architecture works. Well, if there's a node nearby, you just hop directly over the shortest path to your buddy, and now you've got a neighborhood LAN setup going.
That's awesome. So now, okay, it will work for not only like enhancing gaming and making things quicker. So say somebody could use a cheap, say they have just a cheap laptop, but they want to play a game that they want to have 60 frames per second. So in other words, they could essentially use StrongNode to give them really good computing power for their just basic laptop.
Well, that's a little bit that's a little bit outside the use case that we're focusing on, right
Okay.
away. So that's more of like a Stadia kind of like streaming service, but it could very well be possible, depending on where everything falls out. But the use cases that we're mostly focusing on is the compute jobs, processing data, and things like that.
So
Um,
outside of gaming itself, like I know when I was at the university, they had these massively expensive computers that had been donated to them, and they're probably somewhat even out of date. That was 20 years ago, and so essentially they could, because they had massive computing projects for astrology and all kinds of things. And I know my friends had some processing to do, and they would book a time for it for 2 hours. So instead of these universities having to get like a computer that cost $10 million, they could essentially use StrongNode's mesh network and get the computing done for them for probably a fraction of the cost.
Exactly, exactly. And having these entities and these enterprise organizations hold the token, helps them. They can even farm and stake the token to earn more, right? So while they want to get in on this, right, as soon as quickly as they can, because then the value of the token goes up, then the cost and everything like that reduces on their end. So there is a drive there for that. Um, but yeah, that's the exact use case that we're looking at. Is you can offload these massive data farms and these data servers in that infrastructure to our service, and it's decentralized. It uses blockchain, so there's inherent security, there versus the cloud, which I've heard the term the cloud leaks. So having decentralized computing, it just makes sense.
Yeah, because the business model right now, if you they like a lot of big businesses, they locate data storage and data computing services somewhere so they can do it. Now, this can pay. It's almost like what Uber did, because there were large taxi cab companies and everything, and then they said, "Hey, we're just going to pay regular people to put their car to work doing this." And in a decentralized way. So I guess in just a way that I can understand, I think of it kind of like Uber, in that instead of these businesses have to have such huge overhead costs, they can just say, hey, let's use StrongNode and leverage the computing power out there. And as people get a feel for, wow, I'm getting paid really well for putting my computer to work for this, man, I'm going to do more of it. And all of a sudden that broadens the availability of computing power, and it lessens the need for these big warehouses filled with computers just for processing power.
Yeah,
Is that
absolutely. And there's also scalability issues, right? I mean, maybe you have a project or something where you just need to scale up a lot of resources, and you have infrastructure that's already there. Well, maybe along that timeline, you've been, running StrongNode edge jobs and you've been earning the token. So when you need to scale up, you can offset your cost on our network by spending the token then. So there is a way that, you can you can kind of shift between the different node tiers that we have, where you can be an enterprise and then maybe you turn around and become a node seeder. So the same entity that's, doing that is then turning around and providing resources to our network. So it's a give and take. It's a fluid relationship. It's dynamic, and the same thing for a lot of our seeders. We call them node seeders. Kind of heralds back to the torrent days. But those seeders, then maybe somebody needs to crunch a lot of video, compress video, so they might be able to offload that compute job, so that you're not bogged down and you can do other things with your machine. You don't have to just sit there and let it render and then let it sit.
It makes a lot of sense. Now, for our viewers, a lot of my viewers, we're all crypto investors, right? And trying to do the best. Some of us also play video games. We understand this area very well. But when is StrongNode launching? And do you have an idea? So the IDO price, let's see, I had right here, that it's launching on 3 launch pads, right? In just
It
a
is.
couple of weeks?
Actually, it's launching on Thursday for the IDO.
Ah, nice.
It'll
That,
be
that
it'll be on Thursday, and it's starter, bull perks, and trust pad.
Nice. Awesome. And then after that, probably be tradable on Uniswap. Is that the announced
Quick
plan
swap.
for now?
Yep, quick
Oh, yeah,
swap.
that's right, because it's
Yep,
going to be right on
yep,
Polygon.
yep, exactly. So quick swap, and then we are looking to branch out for sure. We've already put in for some listings and stuff. We're on CoinMarketCap, so we're looking to expand our offering and our list. Um, Absolutely, that's the next step, and possibly even Ethereum in the near term, and then farming, also having farming available on Wednesday with QuickSwap.
Yeah, I'm so glad. I'm so tired of paying Ethereum gas fees right now, and the fees are
Yep,
climbing, and they're only going to get worse in the coming two months. So
absolutely.
it'd be so nice to be able to trade for it, as well as farming. It makes you like claiming your rewards so cheap. Yeah, thank you for
Absolutely.
doing that. We appreciate it. A lot of my investors, they only have $100 or $500 or 1,000, and when every time they do a transaction, they're losing $30 in Ethereum fees. It just depletes their resources tremendously. So I'm happy it's going to be on Polygon.
Yeah, and that was a huge motivation for looking at Polygon right off the bat. Was for that specific reason.
Yeah, and quick swap. Sometimes the transaction are a little bit slow. I don't mind a little bit slow for like 2 cents or 1 cent or half a cent over $30 transaction fee that I might be tempted to speed it up and pay $50 for. So I am a little bit burnt out on how much I spent on Ethereum gas fees the last week. Can you tell?
Absolutely.
Man, I don't even want to think about it. Probably spent $20,000 since 2017 on ETH gas fees.
Well, and that's, whenever we talk to non-crypto users, that's the biggest confusion. They're like, wait a second, I have to pay money to send my money, and I'm possibly, paying more than I'm actually sending. That doesn't translate to the non-crypto world.
Yeah, exactly. So awesome. The audience can look for that. Now, we're all investors here. We like to buy low and sell high. So, I mean, we secretly hope it doesn't pump tremendously at the IDO so that we can buy cheap and then just hold it for months as we wait for everyone else to kind of catch on. So, we like to catch projects early, especially the ones that don't get super hyped. So, hoping they don't blast off from the IDO so it can make for some good entries.
Yeah, our game plan is to grow steadily over time. We really don't want the pump and dump. We don't want that, paint the chart and then just candle on everything. So, I can't provide any financial advice or any, forward-looking statements or anything, but that's what we're hoping for.
Perfect. Well, thank you for joining us. I'd love to pick your brain after about the guild and gaming stuff. I wish I knew more about that. The only guild I really joined was EVE Online when I started playing it during the crypto winter, just so I didn't lose my mind. When I tell my audience it's boring during crypto winter, like legitimately it's boring as hell, but it's the best time to be buying and stocking up. So I still did some research during the crypto winter, but I needed something when I wasn't doing that just to play. Now, what's fun is this crypto winter will probably actually have play to earn games that we can be playing. Last one, I had to go to conventional games because there wasn't anything, and EVE Online was the one I picked. There was a few other ones I picked that's along the lines of Cryo War and some other things, so I'm excited to have some better alternatives this time.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's really so. Original Gamer Life is going to start ramping up. It's coming out of stealth ultimately, and we're looking, possibly end of November. So you'll see it ramp up quite a bit and come out into the public space. But my big thing is about building community, and we have a good team, with OG Life as well. So I'd absolutely love to come back and talk more about it, because we're pulling together more resources and things to really make OG Life something special, because there is a social impact aspect to it. We're really focusing on military veterans, emergency response workers, and healthcare industry workers, and then also disabled gamers and older gamers, and then kind of a strange one, content creators, right? Because there's a lot of stress involved in that, and there's a lot of elements of that people don't really necessarily see behind the curtain as much, and there's a lot of expectation and stuff there. So what we're doing is we're providing health and wellness tasks and resources there, along with Original Gamer Life, to make sure that there's a positive impact there, and it's a positive community, positive experience. But then we're also making it very very appealing to the play to earn and the free to play communities, to onboard non-crypto users into the crypto space and have a very strong marketplace that gamers are used to and familiar with.
It's amazing where this all is going. I mean, you look at like Axie Infinity taking off in the Philippines and Vietnam, especially as their economies were devastated by the pandemic. But it's only started there. I can see this expanding into India and all over. And with games more advanced than Axie Infinity, as much as Axie Infinity did great for me as an investment, I tried to play the game and I wanted to tear my eyes out after about 6 hours grinding in order to try to get enough smooth love potion, do one breed, and I just broke down and bought it because I was like halfway there and I was like at the lowest level for breeding and I wanted to kill myself, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is not my type of game. Other people love that type of game. I like more strategy, and it has some strategy. I like more moving parts, more things going on. And so yeah, it wasn't my type of game. I'm glad there's tons of people who love it, but I'm looking forward to what's coming with crypto and gaming. And as an investor too, I'm investing super heavily in the crypto gaming space and the projects that'll be behind making all of that come together. So I'm looking forward to StrongNode very much.
Very cool. Well, we're looking forward to having folks like yourself part of the community, because we do want to be around for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us, Brandon.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Awesome. For the audience out there, I did want to hear your thoughts on interviews. I know almost nobody does interviews this cycle, though they were prevalent in 2017. I want to know if you like them, because I do. I know when I was new, and I started to figure out there's a big difference between projects that do 5x and 50x. I want to always invest in the projects that had better chances. And really one of the things it came down to was a better team. And so when I saw interviews, it gave me an idea of who the team is behind it, because such an important component. So I'd love in the comments to hear what your thoughts are on interviews. Now, I do know that we all want the videos like the 5 next coins to 100x. And those are fun, and I get the pleasure this cycle of being the one to invite the actual teams of some of these great projects on to join us and share with us their vision. Overall, if you're ready to level up your crypto game, if you're here for life-changing money, which is what attracted me, some of you I know are here for wife-changing money, my friend Mark, or for that Lambo, strap in, because these next few months are going to be very hot. I am going to be doing some great videos on my top 10 picks or top 5 picks or top 3 picks that might 100x. We are overall in this channel creating the most informed audience in crypto, so join us, because we hope that as we create the most informed audience, we will also create the wealthiest audience in crypto. If you haven't subscribed yet, you might consider it, as the principles I share are proven. They do help you resist the FOMO that will wreck your portfolio. as well as resist the urges to panic sell right at the bottom. And I know some of you are feeling that right now. I just had a good talk with one of my friends. It's like, oh my gosh, this that I'm in is doing nothing. Should I sell it and jump into something that's just pumped? Anyway, this system that I share with you helped me go from thousands to millions in just 3 years, and these principles will work for you too. So stay tuned, and with that, this wrap is for you, my Rainmaker family, that encompasses all these principles.
Came into the space chasing all of the gains, chasing the pumps and all of the hype trains. But like in life, you buy before you're good. Was taught to buy when it was boring like a rainmaker should. I buy when it's down, don't chase the boats that I miss. Cause I'll always make the time in mind. I sit the one out cause I'm patient like that. And I'll wait for the right time. I sell when it's high, I buy when it's low. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm just a rainmaker running the show. Calculated investments, I don't lead with my heart. The principles are simple, they're leaving a mark. Buy when it's boring, just gotta be smart. I sell when it's hype, like all the channels they pump it. That's when I was selling, go parabolic and dump it. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes the time fly by, years going so fast. The game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. Time is never better, the time like the present. This next 5 years is a gift and it's feeling like heaven. I'm committed to learn, to study and to know that nothing comes easy but with knowledge the gain show. Sticking at this wrong cause soon will come a bear market. Learning and growing and when it's slow will be the target. Naysayers come out, Bitcoin is dead. The massive decreases can get to your head. I'm sticking around, the time is better. I'm strong like that, I'll let the others be fretters. In 2 years time the bull will bring back the gains. That makes it worth the effort cause here comes the rain. So let's go rainmakers, let's make it all happen. Let go with the hate, let the haters be crapping. I'm here for 5 years, let's do this together. The time is right, the time could be better. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes the time fly by, years going so fast. This game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. Haters be hating, the time to slow down. Addressing what they say when I'm wearing my crown. They're chasing green candles like someone who was new. I got a vision that was bigger, helping me to push through. I'm still human and sometimes it is rough. And that's what makes me special, simply I stay tough. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck.